Hello people of the internet. The 2023 FNB Wines2Whales Switchback is fast approaching and I am here to help you make the most of your riding experience between Hermanus and Lawrenceford. Now the trails of the Switchback are an absolute blast and certainly feature a few tricky sections, and that's a good thing. I'm going to be breaking down the three most notable types of terrain you're going to experience along the route and share with you how best to ride them, because riding bikes is just more fun when you're doing it properly. Alrighty then, I'm Jason Bull, this is Wild Air Bike, and in this video we're going to be looking at how to ride sandy terrain along the Wines2Whales route. Now there are two types of sandy that we are talking about here. The one kind is the thick tire grabbing type of sand that you might find along the A to Z trails of Grabouw's Country Club, and the other is that classic Western Cape loose sand over hard, which you'll find throughout the Wines2Whales route. First up is the thick sand. Now often it's just going to be a short patch about a couple meters across, and all you really need to do there is come in with some good speed, shift your weight a little bit rearwards, and then keep that front wheel straight with strong arms and blast right through. Then they're going to be the longer patches of that thick sand where we need a little bit more strategy to prevent ourselves from bogging down. So we still want to come in with some good speed, but not too fast, something we can try and manage into the patch of sand. Shift your weight a little bit back, as we would for the shorter sections of sand, but then look ahead and try and pick the most direct line that you can through the sandy section. As for our cadence, a good sweet spot is probably going to be around 70 to 80 RPM. We want to be keeping consistent power on the pedals that we can sustain through the whole sandy section, but not hitting those high cadences that tend to end up with us surging a little bit, because then we're going to be losing traction. Keep your eyes up and keep on driving for the end of the sand, and soon you'll be wondering what you're even worried about in the first place. Now for the second type of sand, that loose over hard terrain. Traction is the name of the game here. For braking and cornering on this sandy terrain, we need weight on the front wheel in order to gain traction. Now for braking, think about getting your weight nice and low and bracing yourself against the handlebars. And as for cornering, if you find that your front wheel tends to slide out a bit on this type of terrain, you want to bring your weight ever so slightly forward while cornering to get a bit more weight on the handlebars and thus weight into the front wheel to generate traction. Do this and you're guaranteed to be dropping your partner in the turns. As for those steep, slippery climbs, we're going to need weight on the rear wheel to have traction there. So if you feel that things are starting to slip up at the back, make sure you stay seated and drive with a smooth pedal stroke to keep things gripping. You'll be cruising your way up those slippery sections like nobody's business. On the bike set up front, similar to what we mentioned in our rocky terrain explainer, having a wider tire of 2.2 to 2.4 inches is going to allow you to run lower tire pressures, which means more traction, and also going to help you float over those thick sandy sections a little bit better. And as we said, if punctures are a concern to you, then you can look into getting a tire with a slightly more robust casing or running one of those lightweight marathon-specific insets. Now, the Wines2Whales Switchback has 3 events running from the 20th to the 29th of October, and the experience is sublime. Could definitely recommend getting out there. It is jam-packed, that route, with trails all the way from Hermanus to Lawrenceford, and the off-the-bike experience is world-class. If you need more info for the event, you can find a link in the description of this video, and you can also, of course, grab an entry there. We'll see you out there on the trails at the Switchback.